Hi, one film that I caught recently that I was very excited to see is Palm Springs. It's had a bit of an interesting backstory. It's from the Lonely Island creative group led by Andy Samberg, formerly of Saturday Night Live and now Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And it was sold at the Sundance Film Festival in January 2020 for a record $17.5 million. So it was all set to be a major release last summer. And then, of course, pandemic, so the resulting film was released on Hulu in the United States and now has finally been released in the UK after a sort of like 9 month interregnum. Um, the film has an obvious antecedent in Groundhog Day. It's a romantic comedy about a time loop, but that is where the similarities end. We follow initially Niles, who is at a wedding at which his girlfriend is one of the bridesmaids, and it is clear that he is well aware of what's going on. He is able to perfectly measure other people's dance moves. He clearly has stopped caring long ago. He turns up to the ceremony wearing swimming shorts, a Hawaiian shirt, and constantly drinking cans of beer. And as the story goes on, we see that he has been in his time loop for so long that he has actually forgotten what he's done, what he used to do for a living. He's been there for thousands of years, maybe, and has got past the point of trying to kill himself. Bettering himself doesn't work, so he's just resolved to carry on existing and make the best of it as much as he can. The reason for the loop, we discover fairly soon, is some kind of mysterious cave, which he wandered into the night of the wedding before and then woke up in his bed that same morning. He accidentally, however, drags in another woman with whom he took out to the rocks in the desert for sex, and she is now stuck in the time loop with him. She goes through the same things that he does, the same anxieties and same attempts to escape. And the two resolve to just live together in the loop, making the best of it and enjoying the possibilities afforded by life never having any consequences. This is a fantastic film. I absolutely loved it. It's one of the best films I've seen this year, one of the best films I've seen in the last few years. Um, it's immensely clever, um, immensely thoughtful. The relationship between the two characters, the Niles character played by Andy Samberg and Sarah played by Cristin Milioti, is that Niles is just happy in his little cocoon. He can stay there forever. He never has to worry because there's no consequences. But gradually, Sarah realizes that this isn't any way to she wants to live. She doesn't just want to exist. So there is this tension between staying safe and comfortable and actually breaking out into the world. And this is reflected in the relationships the characters have with everyone else that we gradually discover as the loops continue. Um, the relationship between them is completely believable as they discover a connection and stories about their previous association in other loops comes out. And there is a third character who's also in the loops, someone who got stuck in there sometime earlier, played by J.K. Simmons, and who is determined to take revenge on Miles for what he's done. Even though when he wakes up in Los Angeles. He sometimes, in his loops, comes out and kidnaps Niles, tortures him to death, knowing that he will just wake up again the following morning. So there is that sort of figure as well that Niles has this guilt for what he's done that he cannot assuage, along with the character whom he can't confront because he can't break out of this cycle. He literally cannot break out of the cycle and chooses not to. Um, the chemistry between Samberg and Milioti is fantastic. They're a totally believable couple, even as both is sort of fractured and broken in their own interesting ways. The script is brilliantly clever and creative and constantly comes up with new ideas for how they can spend time in this situation. Um, whenever they want to get reached for a reset, they simply run into a road to get crushed by a truck. And there are beautiful other elements woven in as well. There's a scene where they spend the evening by a campfire in the desert, having taken mushrooms, and in the distance they can see dinosaurs walking past. and it's left ambiguous as to whether or not that's something that's really happening, or if it's again some strange factor in the loops that maybe dinosaurs are trapped in the loops as well. Um, it's a film that's quite hard to describe because so much of my reaction to it was emotional, but it does seem to be a perfect film for the current situation. It's about um, the importance of being able to break out of your comfort area. That we've spent the last year staying in our own loops and staying safe and protected, but then given the opportunity to escape and go back out into the world as things improve and vaccines and herd immunity and such become uh, opportunities for life to get back to normal, how we respond to that. Um, and clearly, people watching this while in lockdown and seeing characters just living the same day over and over again without consequences, there's clearly some kind of connection that's coming up there. It's a brilliantly acted film. It's very brilliantly written. The direction is self assured and sure footed and um, note perfect all the way through. There are some great supporting performances from, as I say, J.K. Simmons and Peter Gallagher and various others. I really, really liked it. It's one of my favourite films of the year. And I think it's definitely a film of 2020 and 2021, and I would recommend it very, very highly indeed.